Hello, family. It's nice to be back on the channel with you all. It's Kate Aspires. It's the place where purpose and finance meet. If you are joining us for the first time, please do well to hit the subscribe button, as we would love you to be a part of this global community. So, family, I was seeing a movie recently, and then a line got my attention, and it's a statement made by one of the main characters in that movie. I think it's a war between the Indian army and the Pakistan army over a particular mountain top or stuff like that. And then the actor said, "We are going to make this move. Either ways, it's either we make history or we become history." And then that line got to me. It's either we make history or we become history. And then I realized that at some point we are going to become history, either we like it or not. But the real question is, will you ever make history before you become history, or will you become history without ever making history? And how do I mean? There are points you get to in life, there are scenarios that come up in your life, there are situations that come up in your life, and then you have just one move to make. Either you give up or you take a shot that looks so risky and you are not so sure what the outcome will be. But one thing is certain: if it goes right, you are going to make history. If it goes wrong, then you become history. And at that point, at that decision point, many individuals cowered out of such decisions as though they will never have to make another difficult decision after that. And what they fail to realize is, either you make that decision at that point, either you take that risk, either you give that shot, either you make that attempt or not, at some point you are going to become history. The moves you make, the impact you make, the shots you make, the attempt you give life when you are actively in it are the things that will determine if you ever make history, if you ever be someone important in the book of histories. The question I'm asking you today is, before you become history, will you ever make history, or will you become history without ever making history? In that your chosen field, in that your career path, in that space of yours, in that your industry, in that your calling, in that thing you have found joy in doing, in that thing you found passion in doing, in that thing you've seen yourself doing over time, and then you've said to yourself, this is my purpose. Will you just live in that space, in that calling, like every other normal human being, because you are so scared to make something, to make a move that you are not so sure what the outcome will be, because you don't want to become history all of a sudden? Or would you give it your best shot? Would you give that career, that calling, that purpose, that part of yours? Would you disrupt? Would you make some disruptions? Would you challenge the status quo and then make a meaning out of your life? So much so that your life then becomes history. We've read about great men and women in history books. These are people who didn't live doing the normal things every other person was doing. The question is, would you become one of those people, or would you just live and then at some point become history without ever making history? Either you make history or just become history. The choice is yours. But at some point, you are going to become history. Either you make history or not is now a question you want to answer yourself. Do I want to live my life such that I make history, or will I die and become history without ever making history? Because at some point, you are going to become history. Don't die without making history. Till I come your way again, I need to remain financially sharp. I need to remain in financial space. I need to remain financially fit. I need to do everything legally and morally right to become financially free and becomes a man or a woman that fulfills his or her purpose. Remember, a generation is counting on you, and you cannot afford to fail them. If you enjoyed what you just listened to, please do well to like, do well to drop your comment, do well to share with family and friends. And if you are new to this community, please do well to hit the subscribe button, as we would love you to be a part of this global community. Remember, I am waiting for you. Bye.